Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaRakah Kodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, all well, and shalom to the whole full elect. This is Payal of the GMS London camp, and this is News and Prophecy, Prophecy and News. I have an article here from Zero Hedge, alright, which basically is called Faces of Lockdowns. Okay, so, with the lockdown that's presently going on, this is like a look into how the lockdown is affecting people's lives, their livelihood and whatnot. And basically, in saying that, there's a couple videos. I'm gonna read through the article, but there's a couple videos. I only watched one of them, but they're worth having a look, because it shows you that the people are cracking, man, and they're basically, more or less, Esau's got them where he wants them, all right? And even the one that I watched, she basically, she broke it down and said that she believes the mayor, I'm not too familiar with the mayor of New York or whoever holds the power, who she mentioned, it escapes me right now, but basically she said that they're doing it on purpose and they want to basically take it back to the 70s, where basically New York was monopolized. I'm not too familiar with that time, but that's what she said. So she basically said, yeah, they want to take it, throw it back to them times there, and centralize everything, have control over everything, where no one can make a living. And she was saying, this is America. We're meant to be free. We're meant to have the the ability to basically, what's this word? The ability to, make a living and do well for ourselves, to work hard and do well for ourselves. That's what she's saying. But what they don't know is that Esau's, got a plan, all right, that he wants to bring into effect, and he don't care, all right. That plan is a total control, all right, governance over the people through deception, all right, which ultimately is part of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and Yahweh's plan, all right, to basically bring about the kingdom. Right, as it says in 2nd Ezra 6:9, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is it that followeth, basically. All right, so I'm gonna get into it. It says phases of lockdowns, while data, statistics, historical allusions, and appeals to mortality will demonstrate the disastrous nature of lockdowns. None show the devastation as vividly as personal stories from those suffering the most. Since March 2020, New York City has faced a constant back and forth of new and revised COVID regulations. Although these policies initially appear helpful in the VID's mitigation, they are not only ineffective but extremely harmful to the people and their livelihoods. We spoke to a few working New Yorkers and found the situation to be just as suspected. Business on the brink of shutting down for good, students struggling to learn, and unmatched frustration. The anecdotal videos below provide a glimpse into the lives of many people in New York City. While the individuals interviewed are understandably frustrated, they all exude perseverance, strength, and above all, hope. Yeah, they got their hope in the wrong place, because ultimately, the only hope is of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay, the world is moving into a new normal, and that's by design. All right, it's prophecy. It's time for prophecy to be fulfilled. So saying that, I wanted to so this is a woman's video I watched, Irene. So it says Irene is no stranger to adversity. In 2018, her husband Chris unexpectedly died. Faced with her grief, Irene juggled raising their 4 boys with the sudden demand of learning how to run a restaurant. Prior to her husband's untimely passing, she had not been involved with operating the diner. So when he died, she briefly contemplated selling it, but the restaurant was her husband's legacy, all right? And she was, piping up how, this is my husband's legacy. Like, he's, people know him. And I playfully thought, I don't know him. But this is the point. It's like, many have been deceived by their own vain opinion. They believe they're somebody when they're not really. All right. And we even know we're humble servants in saying that we're humble servants of Yahweh, Barsham Yahushai, Barsham Arakar Kudash. And we're just another brick in the wall, so to speak, all right? Lord willing, to the kingdom of Yahweh Barsham Yahushai. And not to downplay that that's a light thing, but then, we're part of a body and we're meant to have, great humility. But now this woman in New York feels some sense of entitlement, all right? Because to her husband is the world, but in all reality, he's a nobody to the elites, all right? So they don't care about his legacy. They don't care about the diner until it's really under their control, all right? And they profit off it, or the land, or whatever they deem to do with it. So it says quitting was not an option, especially for a New Yorker like herself. As a resolute business owner and mother, she refuses to give up her rights to freedom and to earn a living. And even she mentioned that, which they kind of glossed over. She said that, swine flu. She mentioned different things. Said the kids were going to school back then. And that's something, having lived through, it's the same thing. I remember when swine flu was going on, and I saw, you'd see like, and SARS and all these different things. And you'd see like Eastern Asians, right, basically, like more Ammon and them, basically wearing face masks. And I remember that was like, people would laugh. And I mean, all across the board. I'm talking from the upper class down to the lower, right, from what I could see anyway. So now, roles change and everyone's, you know, basically bowed down and following the measures. So the next one says, Adam, a special education teacher at a high school in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, is especially concerned with the academic, social, and emotional well-being of his students during lockdowns. Right, his students come from a diverse neighborhood, and most are from immigrant families. Adam has watched most of his class suffer through remote learning and fall behind academically because of school closures. So now you got a lot of people that basically they're lacking the motivation, um, the morals are all-time low in terms of school, all right, because they're not in a school, in an environment, that school environment, all right, they're at home and whatnot, and obviously the circumstances that put before them is having an effect on them. A significant portion of their families do not have the time, resources, or ability to facilitate learning in a way that at all resembles in-person education, all right. Ed's culinary dreams about became a reality in March 2007 when he opened Ed's Lobster Bar in Soho. He successfully led his burgeoning or big burgeoning going, whatever the word, Salakia, excuse me. I can't pronounce that properly, but it says seafood restaurant through the 2007-2008 financial crisis. But 2020 lockdowns brought new and greater challenges. Restaurants, so he dealt with the financial crisis of, the credit crunch and all that type of stuff. But he got through it. But he's saying this is a whole new dilemma that he ain't never come across. Restaurants have been disproportionately harmed by lockdown restrictions, and like many others, the Lobster Bar has been forced to cut worker pay and limit dining capacity. Looking ahead, Ed hopes to return to a free society where people can choose to participate in the New York economy, all while keeping a determined mindset in the face of hardship. Not seeing the video, but it sounds like he's saying that, like, he knows that the dynamic that's being played out before him is not gonna be that, but he hopes that when when everything is done, it's still gonna be open, as it was before, for him to just do his business as he was doing before. Let me quickly check the comments and see what they're saying. Yeah, that's quite funny. The good old days, wearing a mask in a bank would get you arrested. Real. Um, this is funny. Uh, uh, so I'm going to read this one and then I'm going to get into the scriptures. So it says, children are going to be so messed up from this if they don't have adults around them helping them to navigate this insanity and new abnormal. I saw a baby boy at a grocery store and everyone around had masks on. He kept saying hi to me and we kept smiling at each other. He wanted human connection and normal societal or social interaction. Um, I can't even imagine raising little children in this environment. My kids are middle school, high school, and we have a lot of conversations about all the lies they are telling us. All right, so as you can see, at reading the article, you can see that this is having a big effect on people mentally, all right, financially, um, physically is greatly harming to all of them. And the reason why I say that is because basically, in that being said, it lends itself to basically having the people, Esau having the people where he wants them to basically take advantage of them and establish his new world order agenda. All right, so I'm gonna read this in Exodus because this is what Esau's play is. Ultimately to bring about the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. All right, and basically, in doing so, all right, solidifying what he hopes to establish his new world order. All right, so now I'm gonna read this in Exodus 21, and I'm gonna start from 1, and the point is in 6. So it says, now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If thou buy a Hebrew servant 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. All right. So basically, if a man, Hebrew servant went into sold himself into slavery, he'd serve for 6, and then in the 7th he'll go free basically for nothing. And but whatever possessions he had before, you maintain those possessions. Verse 4: If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be the master's, and he shall go out by himself. So basically, look, if like he goes into the master's house, and the master gives him a wife, he has children by that wife, then when he leaves, he can't leave with that woman and children. Basically, he just has to just hit the road running and keep it moving. And the wife, the woman, and the children belong unto the master. All right. Verse 5: And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. All right. And those things, really keeping it simple, kind of incentive, like an incentive, a reason to stay for that servant. All right. Just like in a society today, the circumstances before these people are highly compromising to the life they had before, the normality they had before. All right. So that's why we're in a new normal. Right? But it will allow them to be in the same servant's position because they're servants. As a quote goes, that is a currency of slaves basically, and everyone's indebted. Everyone went from when the day you're born, you're indebted to the society's your country's debt basically. You're allocated a certain amount. All right, so basically you're a slave. All right, to the powers that be. So it says, and if that the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. All right. So if he says, look, I ain't gonna go nowhere, I love what I got before me, then his master shall bring him onto the judges. All right. So the judgment can be sealed. He shall also bring him to the door, or onto the judge or the doorpost, and his master shall bore his heir through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever. All right. So basically, that awl is a mark, basically a mark to say, look, that's that man is a servant his master. All right, and that's the same thing Esau's doing right now. I quickly read two scriptures, so building that point. So it's Revelations 13 and 16. So it says, this is dealing with a beast. This is the system we're presently in. As I just showed you, that was on a lesser scale, you know, with the master of our household. But this man now, Esau, Edom, the Rothschild, Rockefellers, DuPont, Gates, etc., etc., they're the master of the house, being this world. All right, and this is what they and to show that they want to establish this beast system. So this is Revelations 13:16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. So he's saying all across the board, sweeping all across the board, wants them to come and receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So a mark to indicate that they're the same as all. All right. And this is where it says that, and that no man might buy or sell save he that have the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you ain't gonna have no ability to do nothing within society unless you take that mark. So it says, here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man. All right, so this is a man's number, all right, which he's gonna utilize. But this man's, you know, that number is going to basically let you know who he is. For it's a number of a man, and his number is 600 all right? And that's Esau's number. And on the RFID chip, if you look up on the barcode, you basically have three numbers, one at the end, the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end, and they all have a numerical value of 6, or that bar basically represents the number 6, all right? So that's the number of his name, okay? So I'm going to finish on this one. There's a book of Isaiah 36:6 says, lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, all right? So basically, no, this is for members of society like this, man. Most of the people, outside the elect, all right, 144,000 and a 1/3, which the 144,000 are part of the 1/3. They don't have the same mindset as this. So it says, Isaiah 36:6, lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed, right, on Egypt, right? So Egypt, which as we know was talking about Babylon the Great, all right, or America, all right, this beast system with the harlot on top is basically Egypt, all right? As it tells you in Revelation 11:7 about they channeled the powers of Babylon and Egypt, or Sodom and Egypt, sorry. And it says, but when it says, I trust in the staff of this broken reed, the broken reed is talking about the cannula, all right? When you look up the word cannula, it's basically a reed, which a cannula is what you use to administer RFID chips. Wherein if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So if you lean on that cannula, it will insert and pierce that RFID chip. So with Pharaoh, king in Egypt, to all that trust in him, all right? So basically, that's a mark to say, that's that mark, that basically if you take that, all right, if you lean on it and it pierces you, basically that means you're basically showing confederacy to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, all right? Esau, Edom, all right? So this is why these things are happening. They're doing, they're squeezing the people, applying pressure, all right, and putting them in a very compromising situation as to where if they want to survive and live, that they have to, get down or lay down. So with that, man, I pray you're edified, and, that's what's coming, man. The time is short. 2021 year hastening to the coming of our Lord, Yahweh Shai. This is the time we're in, and things are moving very quickly. The devil, knowing that he has a short time, cometh down with great wrath. So I pray you're edified. I say shalom till the next one. Shalom, shalom, shalom.